Nietzsche is not a nihilist. This is one of the more persistent myths about the history of philosophy. A nihilist is someone who says that there is no meaning in life, or that there is no value to life. There is nothing of significance or worth in this life. Well, that's not what Nietzsche says. What Nietzsche says is that the meaning of life cannot be assessed from outside of life. You would need God's perspective to assess the value of life from without life, and we don't have that perspective. The value of life must be assessed from within. That's what Nietzsche says. Nietzsche also says there's no meaning of life as analyzed from a transcendent perspective. There's no meaning of life that depends on God or on any higher reality. Again, the meaning of life is a this-worldly thing, not a transcendent thing. But that doesn't mean there's no meaning in life. In fact, Nietzsche thinks that it is an error to think that the meaning of life can only be assessed from some perspective outside of life, and it is an error to think that the meaning of life must depend on something higher, something transcendent, on God, or some higher immaterial world, a la Plato, and so on. Nietzsche thinks this is a mistake, and it is this mistake that leads to nihilism. Because in the contemporary world, with epistemological naturalisms like that of Kant, that is to say, theories that knowledge is limited to the natural, theories that knowledge of God is something we don't have. With these sorts of developments, and with materialisms, with the influence of Darwin, with the influence of materialistic theories of life, the universe, and everything, we are inevitably bound for nihilism if we stick with this theory that the only possible meaning for life is that which is assessed from outside of life, or that which is determined with reference to something higher than this life. And Nietzsche says that is what leads to nihilism. And the way to avoid nihilism is to get rid of that error, and to affirm the meaning of life, affirm the value of life for its own sake, not for the sake of God or some higher reality. To affirm the value of this world on its own terms. Assess the value of life from within. The most important one-sentence summary of Nietzsche's philosophy is affirm life. And that is simply not nihilism. Now, it may not be correct, but it's not nihilism. Now, whether it is correct, I think, depends on whether Nietzsche is correct that this world is independent of some higher world.